to you, depending where you are in the world. I'm here live in London. It's the nighttime devotion. The devotional is called Conflict and Courage. So the title today, A Mismatched Pair. Proverbs 31:30. Favour is deceitful and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. In the character of Abigail, the wife of Nabal, we have an illustration of womanhood after the order of Christ, while her husband illustrates what a man may become who yields himself to the control of Satan. When David was a fugitive from the face of Saul, he had camped near the possessions of Nabal and had protected the flocks and shepherds of this man. In a time of need, David sent messengers to Nabal with a courteous message asking for food for himself and his men. And Nabal answered with insolence, returning evil for good and refusing to share his abundance with his neighbours. No message could have been more respectful than that which David sent to this man. But Nabal accused David and his men falsely in order to justify himself in his selfishness and represented David and his followers as runaway slaves. When the messenger returned with this insolent taunt, David's indignation was aroused, and he determined to have speedy revenge. One of the young men in the employ of Nabal, fearing that evil results would follow Nabal's insolence, came and stated the case to Nabal's wife, knowing that she had a different spirit from her husband and was a woman of great discretion. Abigail saw that something must be done to avert the result of Nabal's fault, and that she must take the responsibility of acting immediately without the counsel of her husband. She knew that it would be useless to speak to him, for he would only receive her proposition with abuse and contempt. He would remind her that he was the lord of the household, that she was his wife and therefore in subjection to him and must do as he should dictate. Without his consent, she gathered together such stores as she thought best to conciliate the wrath of David, for she knew he was determined to avenge himself for the insult he had received. Abigail's course in this matter was one that God approved, and the circumstance revealed in her a noble spirit and character. A mismatched pair. So in this devotion, we're obviously talking about Nabal and Abigail. As it said in the beginning, Abigail feared the Lord and Nabal didn't. And he was more about Satan than anything else. So if you know the story of David, basically he was on the run, so to speak, from Saul. And he was asking for some food to feed him and his men. Nabal knew of them, that they're on the run from Saul, and he treated them with the contempt of just pure stupidity, really. Stupidity, spitefulness, sneering at him, and just pure selfishness. Now, Abigail, on the other hand, Did she know he'd be anointed by Samuel already? We don't. I'm not sure. I don't think so. But she obviously, as it said here, had discernment. She knew they had to look after them. It would be the right thing. And she did the right thing. She sent food to David and his men, which basically, firstly, saved her life and more. I'm not sure if you know the story, but I'm not going to tell you it because I might go on to say it. But it really it's an amazing. The whole story of David is like a big adventure. It really is. A lot of action, a lot of romance, a lot of drama. Psychological thriller, you could say. Yeah, just the story of David alone is one big epic drama, and there's so much more in the Bible. In this, a mismatched pair. Nabal died, not a really good death, and then Abigail went on to much bigger and better things. And as the scripture said, favor is deceitful, beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. I will say that seeing a woman serve God, be it preaching, singing, teaching, whatever they do, seeing a woman do it with grace, is beautiful. Seeing a woman read her Bible is beautiful. When they say to be unequally yoked, it's exactly what it's talking about here with Nabal and Abigail. When two can come and walk together, you have to fear the Lord, you have to fear God, you have to reverence him, because when you know and understand what he is, you'd be a fool to turn away.